along on YouTube, and then I'll just ask you some questions afterward.
Oh.
Okay? Awesome.
The Bravest Fish by Matt Buckingham. Far below the waves, a little fish named Stanley lived with his school. They were the brightest, sparkliest fish of the deep, dark sea. One morning, Stanley woke up late. "Hello, it's me," he called to his friends, but the reef was strangely quiet. Suddenly, Stanley remembered that today was the day his school swam to cooler waters for the summer. "Jumping jellyfish," he groaned. He hurried to the meeting point as fast as his fins could carry him. But no one was there. As he looked around, he saw a bright light. "Aha, they haven't gone far," he said, and he raced toward the glow. But it was only a lobster counting coins. "Go away, don't touch my treasure," the lobster growled, snapping his claws. "I'm looking for my friends," said Stanley. "Fish," the lobster grumbled. "Those others were in such a hurry to find someone they upset my coins." "Others?" asked Stanley. "My friends?" "Join them then," snarled the lobster, and Stanley sped off. Ahead of him, Stanley saw a shimmer. He could just make out a bright, sparkly fish, one of his friends. "Hello, it's me," he called, swimming faster. Clonk! Stanley crashed head first into something hard. "Jumping jellyfish," he cried. It wasn't one of his friends at all, but his own reflection in a shiny pearl. Stanley rubbed his bump nose, feeling a little dazed. He didn't notice the dark shape coming up behind him. When he turned around, Stanley found himself staring straight into the mouth of a huge shark. "Ah!" Stanley shrieked. Over coral and under weeds, he sped with the shark, snapping at his tail. Finally, Stanley saw a small hole in a rock below. He dived down inside to just miss being gobbled up.
What's the close one?
Deep within the cave, Stanley shivered and shook. He felt sad and lonely. He was beginning to think he'd never see his friends again. "Well, I can't stay here forever," he said at last. Stanley poked his head out of the cave to see if the shark had left. "Jumping jellyfish," he squealed. The sea was a golden orange, glowing and glittering. It was the most wonderful sight he had ever seen, because there in front of him were his friends. "Hello, it's me," he called. "Stanley," his friends cheered. "Where have you been? We've been looking all over for you." And Stanley told them his adventures as they swam off in one bright, sparkly, happy school. Subscribe to my channel for a new story every day.
Cute.
Thank you, Sarah, for listening to the story. Like I said, I'm just going to ask you a few questions.
Alright.
So this is a fill-in-the-blank question. So a little blank named Stanley lived with his blank.
A little fish named Stanley lived with his school.
Nice. And then what sea creature was counting coins?
It was a lobster.
Good job. And then near the end of the story, when Stanley was shivering in a cave, why was he sad and lonely?
He was sad and lonely because his friends weren't around.
Exactly. And then what do you think adventure means?
Adventure is an exciting journey.
Okay.
Or an experience, maybe.
Yeah. Nice. And then when was a time you got lost and couldn't find anyone?
Literally all the time. I get lost so often.
Me too.
One time I was new at a new job. I got a new job and
What job was it?
It was at Sunsplash, so I was a lifeguard.
Oh, okay.
And I had literally lived there for 16 or 17 years at this time. And it wasn't that far away from home. But I got lost and I couldn't find my way home, so I had to call my parents. and they had all their friends over, and I'm like known to be the person that gets lost everywhere, and so then
Wow.
everyone was giving me a bad time.
All right, well, thanks, Sarah.
Yeah.